Bali, that tropical island traveler's paradise everyone has to visit at least once in their lifetime. For the partying, for the dope experiences, for the exotic spiritual and cultural vibes, for the food.
For first-timers though, so many aspects of Bali can be mystifying or confusing. And there's always those things you definitely just want to outright avoid in case you end up on the wrong side of Indonesian law. So here is a quick lowdown on 16 things you shouldn't do in Bali, Indonesia, to avoid coming across as insensitive or culturally inept to the very nice and sweet local people, or just to stay out of trouble. This is a compilation from our own experience living here. Feel free to chip in if we misunderstood or got something wrong, or if you just want to add to some of our points. Number 1, don't run around or drive around scantily clad. It may be hot, but it's still very rude if you were to run or drive around in just your bikini or even just board shorts for the men. The Balinese are modest people, and tourists running around half naked just look so terribly out of place and disrespectful. Also, if you wish to visit the temples and sacred religious sites, you probably will need to wear a sarong to cover your legs. You can buy your own and bring it around, but very often the temples just thoughtfully provide sarongs for tourists to borrow, either for free or for a token fee at the entrance. Number 2, don't step on this. Check this out, you'll see this everywhere. On every street corner, in the middle of the road, on ledges. This is called canang sari. They are daily ceremonial offerings made by the Balinese people for their gods. Small, woven, handmade palm leaf baskets stuffed with flowers, snacks and coins, topped off with a smoking incense stick. It might not make sense to you, but the locals believe the gods consume these offerings. The canang sari are a wonderfully beautiful and fragrant aspect of the deep spirituality of Bali. They represent the locals' faith and love for their gods, so obviously, to be respectful, we take care not to step on or drive over the canang sari. And even if we accidentally disturb one, we make sure to apologize sincerely. I think that's the correct way to go about this. Are we right? You tell us if there is more that we must understand. Number 3, don't accept or give things using just your left hand. This may sound weird to you, but in Indonesia, the left hand is actually reserved for toilet duties and is therefore considered unclean. So to use your left hand to hand stuff to someone or accept stuff is actually considered rude in Bali. Default to the right, or as I prefer, I try to use both hands, just to be respectful across Asia generally. Number 4, don't let your guard down with the monkeys. Monkeys, huge attraction in Bali, especially at famous tourist spots like the sacred monkey forest in Ubud or at the Uluwatu temple. They may look cute and harmless, but years of interaction with millions of tourists have taught them to pluck that Starbucks drink or your iPhone right out of your unsuspecting hand, or to remove those Ray-Ban sunglasses perched on your head just for a laugh. It makes for a very funny story afterwards, but it's usually quite stressful when it's happening, so just beware of the potential monkey mayhem. Number 5, don't skimp on the travel insurance. Bali is generally a safe travel destination with very nice people, but accidents do happen. The good news is that decent Western-style healthcare is available and they speak English. The catch? It ain't cheap. Travel insurance is just a good fallback for when you get caught out unexpectedly, whether you had something stolen or the flight's delayed. Even more so if you're planning to ride a scooter or climb Mount Batur or some other volcano while you're here. We ourselves, we use Safety Wing's Nomad Health Insurance because it's a great and affordable option for longer term travel. You can check that out using our link in the description below.
Number 6, don't be noisy driving or otherwise.
The Balinese are generally a very respectful and considerate people, gentle and easy with their smiles and laughter, but rarely loud and noisy. Even honking in Bali is always an act of communication, like as a signal for turning or to check before turning, for example. Rarely an act of hurrying other people up. So don't be rude and inconsiderate by being noisy, speaking loudly, or causing a ruckus or pressing down on your horn out of impatience. It just doesn't fly here. Number 7, don't trust the too cheap alcohol. I know a lot of you come to Bali for a good time, and that includes partying and drinking. All that is fine, of course, provided you also know that imported alcohol in Bali is very heavily taxed by the Indonesian government, so it's never cheap. Which means if you're drinking oh so cheap cocktails, chances are you might be drinking locally produced spirits such as Lach, the local vodka. The problem there is a lot of it isn't regulated and sometimes produced incorrectly, and so can cause alcohol poisoning and severe illness, even permanent blindness in the worst scenario. Our advice? Stick to bottled beverages such as beer, decline free or cheap drinks, and don't leave your glass unattended. Number 8. Don't do drugs. This is a big, huge no-no. Indonesia has a solid zero-tolerance stance on the possession, manufacturing, and trafficking of illegal drugs. Even marijuana. Even some of your prescription drugs, ADHD medication for example. If you get into trouble on this front, you're looking at long jail sentences or even possibly the death sentence. It's just not worth it. And if you're wondering about your prescription medications, best to just double check with the Indonesian embassy. Number 9. Don't drink the tap water. Apparently, Bali doesn't have the best water infrastructure. So drinking tap water is a big, huge no-no. We actually brush our teeth using tap water at home and we've never gotten sick this way. But then again, we've been living in Asia for a long time and our bellies have definitely acclimatized. Stick to drinking only bottled filtered water. And if you don't want to add to the plastic pollution of our earth, go around with your own refillable bottle. Number 10. Don't touch the Balinese people on their heads, and don't stick your feet up on chairs or tables showing the bottoms. The head is considered a sacred part of the body, so no pat on the heads, even for the kids. And showing the bottoms of your feet by sticking your feet up on the table or chairs is considered culturally really rude. Number 11. Don't fly in with your dogs. In the Balinese Hindu tradition, dogs are actually considered holy animals. Unfortunately, due to Bali's past as a high-risk rabies location, there is a ban on importing and exporting animals, including your beloved dogs. Just so you know, and you're prepared. Number 12. Don't assume that Bali is a small uniform island that is, about the same here or there. Well, it's totally not. The different parts of Bali all have something different to offer and a different flavor of life and living. For drunken revelry and gaudy tourism, who touched the place? South Bali, like Uluwatu, Jimbaran, Dingin and whatnot, is where the hardcore surfing and the gorgeous cliff-edge white sand jewel beaches are at. Ubud is where the yogis, the artists, the craftsmen, and those seeking the spiritual experience gather in the green of the stunning paddy fields and tropical jungles. Central and North Bali is home to incredible waterfalls, hot springs, rice terraces, volcanoes, and that rural bliss. Number 13. Don't avoid trying out the Balinese foods. If you watch this channel, you will know that we definitely believe that exploring the local Balinese cuisine is one of the best parts of a Bali vacay. Don't let fears of getting Bali belly or trying spicy food put you off from trying local food, especially street food. In our experience, most warungs are clean and hygienic and offer delicious Balinese food that will be the culinary experience of your life. Number 14. Don't overstay your visa. Lots of people come to Bali for a short vacay and end up falling in love and scrambling to rearrange things so they can stay for longer. But overstaying your visa is definitely not the way to do that. Many nationalities can get a tourist visa on arrival for $35 and that lasts 30 days. This can, if you're so inclined, be extended for another 30 days. But that's the limit. There are potential fines of over 1 million Indonesian rupiah each day that you overstay after the 60 days. And anyone who does that will be required to attend court and even face jail time. An alternative you may want to consider is the 60-day B211 cultural visa, which, with extensions, can allow for a potential stay of up to 6 months. But this one you have to apply for at the Indonesian consulate before coming to Bali. Number 15. Don't come just for a short time. There is so much to see and discover and savor. The biggest mistake anyone can make when planning their Bali vacay is to think that this is a place you can be through with in 1 or even 2 weeks. Number 16. Don't jam-pack your days. It seems opposite to number 15, but it's really not. Bali is not ranked repeatedly as the world's #1 most popular destination for nothing. There is a never-ending list of activities, bars and restaurants and incredible experiences to get through. And yet this is also the place that can offer the best relaxation and rejuvenation holiday experiences. Don't cram your time here full of tourist things to do. The magic of a Bali holiday is to experience some of the top things in wherever you are, Ubud, Seminyak or Canggu. And leave time for spontaneous massages, sunsets by the pool and walks in the paddy fields. In other words, experience life on Bali time, the way the locals do. So there you go, 16 tips on what not to do in Bali, Indonesia. We hope these have been helpful or at least interesting. Let us know in the comments below if you have other don'ts you'd like to add to the list or questions that we can help with or anything really. Don't forget to click the like button. It really helps YouTube get our video out to people who may find it helpful like you did. And consider subscribing for more videos about life here in Bali or just our thoughts on things really. Talk again soon next Saturday. Bye!